Hello, how you cats doing? Today, I want to talk about uh, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Greenwood, okay, or that Black Wall Street, okay, and I want to talk about an economic system for Black people, okay. It's not a new system. I mean, it's a system that's been out there for a while, and you heard a lot of our leaders talk about it. You heard Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Mega Evans. A lot of our leaders have talked about this economic system, okay? And what I'd like to do is give you a little history of Greenwood and then talk about this economic system that we need to seriously consider, you know, going in. And we don't need nobody's permission. We don't need to talk to the government. We don't need to talk to Barack Obama. We don't need to get nothing approved by Congress. We don't need to talk to Trump or Hillary, whoever gets in the office. This is something that we can do on our own and should be doing, and we was trying to do it, okay? And I look at Tulsa, Oklahoma as a perfect example of people working together to try to achieve economic system for themselves, okay? And I've studied this a lot. This was my life. This is where I came from. That's where I was born. Excuse me. That's where I was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Matter of fact, at Moton, right off of Greenwood. Okay. I got baptized. I got baptized on Greenwood, called the church called First Baptist. But everything I've known has been on Greenwood. Okay. So I thought about this a lot, So what I figured out and studied about Greenwood is that, at that time you had slavery. Slavery had, 18 something, 1865, I think, the end of slavery, and people were, black people was trying to make a living for themselves and finding comfortable places to live without racism. And they heard about Tulsa, Oklahoma, was making great strides in that. So a lot of people were coming to Oklahoma, okay, and they eventually got to that point northeast of Tulsa, northeast of Oklahoma, called Tulsa, okay, and they came by trails, they came by they walked, they came by horse and buggy. I mean, every way they could get there, they was coming there because they wanted peace. They wanted peace just like everybody else, okay? They wanted to have a life to where they could live and raise their family, okay? And then I read about these two brothers. They wasn't brothers, but they were two black brothers. But they were two cats that owned land, okay? One guy named O.W. Gurley, okay? He was a businessman that moved to Oklahoma in the early 1900s, and he decided to buy land. I think he bought 40 acres of land, and he started. He also had some like a rooming house, okay? And this rooming house, he would rent to people that was moving into Tulsa, okay, moving in that area, and that was a good service. I mean, he provided that, and then he built homes, built two-story homes, okay, and then you had another cat that, and I mean, there was a lot of people doing a lot of positive things, but these two, they wrote about, and those two kind of stood out. There was another brother called J.B. Stratford, okay. Now, he did basically about the same thing. He bought tracts of land, he divided it up, and he sold it exclusively to black people, okay? And, people building homes, and a lot of these black people had skills, okay? And then they talked about the Indians was there too, and I read about that. They showed where the Indians in the Trail of Tears, the government came and told the Indians that, look, we want this land, okay? And they moved them off of their land. And one thing they didn't tell you about is that those Indians, like the Cherokees, they had slaves. Yeah, they had slaves. They might have had free people too, but they had slaves. And this is from the actual mouths of the kids that was in the. A lady did an interview back in the 1930s to some of the old the people that was with the Cherokees, and they talked about it. They said, yeah, we had a lot of blacks, sir. They wasn't treated as bad as the white people did, but they had slaves. Okay? They had slaves. And when they talked about them Trail of Tears, I went up into North Carolina and I went to the museum up there. I'd been twice to take my kids up there to see that, right? And you see no black people. You see no black people on that Trail of Tears. It's a nice museum. It's really cool. But you see no black people. And them Cherokees, they had slaves. Okay? They had slaves. And those slaves worked in the Trail of Tears. They went out, got food, helped people survive that horrible event. You see what I'm saying? They even went up front of the group to try to clear the path to make sure there wasn't no wild animals there. Black people gave their part. You know what I mean? And they've been kind of like axed out. And you know, look, those are my people. I'm not gonna just forget about that. Okay? But that's where when they eventually got to Oklahoma, they put a lot of Indians in Oklahoma, and that's where a lot of blacks. And they look like Indians. When I grew up, there was a lot of Indians there. My family, we just took Indians. It was normal because that was part of us. I mean, they married, they had families. You know, everybody got most women. I got Indian in me. That's basically where a lot of that come from in that Oklahoma area. Okay, because the Indians, you know, they in a mix. They married. You know what I'm saying? So those groups eventually, those blacks eventually migrated up into the Tulsa area, in that Greenwood area. And a lot of other people coming from Mississippi and all that, they came into that area, okay? And they eventually created a success. I mean, those folks took care of business. And if you look at it in I think that, you know, the riots came, and the white folks came in there and just burned those people out. I mean, they burnt them out. They used some story about some guy messing with this white girl, and that was their way of destroying the whole town. You know, that whole area in Black Greenwood, and that area was very successful. They said that the white people would look at that and say, "Look, these black people doing better than we were." You know. And one thing that stood out with me with Greenwood back then is that those two brothers looked at, you know, they were both working to, you know, supply houses and build houses and all of that. And the Stratford guy, he even had a hotel, one of the largest hotels, black hotels in America. Okay? And they were very close to downtown, so they supplied it where black people could come down there and enjoy the amenities, because the white people wasn't allowing them to come in to their areas because of the Jim Crow laws. They even had laws back in the day to where they call it the Black Code, and that was before the Jim Crow's laws to keep black people down, right? And see, here's my analysis of this. If you know, the uneducated whites that went in there and tore up and messed up, well, we knew it wasn't all the whites, but it was a big percentage of whites back then. That's today's white people. These are your ancestors. They went in there and tore up that. Okay? That, to me, was an economic base for us. Okay? That was our economic base, our economic system that we were creating. Okay? And that basically allowed us to be self-sufficient. We supplied jobs, and people had grocery stores, theaters, hotels. They had everything that basically the white people had. We created a whole economic system, and that supplied jobs. People had high self-esteem. There wasn't a lot of robberies or none of that. Okay? Anytime you starve people out, that's when you see crime run rampant. Okay? And that's basically what you're seeing today. Back then, you didn't see that. All right? Back then, you didn't see that because that Tulsa model, that was all over. It was before Tulsa, after Tulsa, but black people were doing it all over the country. And then you had that low-level mentality of white people going in there, tearing that up. Okay? Now, like I said, it wasn't all the white people. And white people say, oh, white people ain't bad. Ain't nobody saying that. You know what I'm saying? My neighbor, she was 20 years older than us, and across the street, her and her husband, they were nice. We were always friends. You know what I mean? Look out for each other. Then her husband died. Her family came and put her in the nurse home because she started kind of losing her mind. And she calls us today. She calls us today talking about y'all are some of the best neighbors. We were like that with everybody. You see what I'm saying? I don't hate white people. You know, my parents didn't teach me to hate. Matter of fact, they didn't really teach us about it at all. I had to read up on it myself about Black Wall Street. All right? But I knew that's where I came from. All right? And they created an economic system that we need to follow today. Okay? We need to follow that system. That is by creating an economic base for ourselves, or a system for ourselves, gives us a foundation of jobs, gives us a foundation of where people get off of the American economic system, putting such a strain on that system, and we'll have a system of our own. And the simplest thing that I can think of, just like in the Wall Street, they had created a system to where the Jim Crows had created a system to where you couldn't go shop at white stores. Okay, you had to shop in your area. You had to shop where black people shopped. Okay, all right. So that right there allowed money to circulate in the black community. I think they said 36 to 100 times. I've heard almost up to 1,000. I don't know. You know, I know it's at least 100. 36 to 100 times. Okay. And that allowed that money to come in. Like today, if you look at our system now, it's broken. In the black community, I don't even know if we have an economic system. All you see is rich black people living good, pro ball players making good money, and you see a big percentage of poor and middle class blacks. Okay? And we like that all over the country. And the reason that is because we did not create an economic system for ourselves. Each time we tried to say it, even when we eventually tried to fix Wall Street and tried to make it good again, the civil rights movement came and caused us to say, look, we can shop anywhere we want. We don't have to just shop with blacks. And what they did is they hurt themselves economically. Okay? Now we got these brothers that are sitting out here. They selling drugs. If you listen to every I look at television shows talking about drug dealers, right? And when they be saying, I don't want to do this, but I gotta survive. And you know, McDonald's them don't pay enough. I need to survive. Sure, they should go get 4 or 5 jobs. Yeah, all right. But a lot of people ain't gonna do that. And the reality is that these cats gonna do whatever is easy for them or comfortable. That's not a way out. And white people are doing it too. You got your drug dealers over there, so it's not just a black issue. I even saw in Russia, it was a lady on the corner when their currency collapsed. Lady on the corner selling drugs, old lady, the older Russian white lady. All right, so it's not about the color. All right, we need to get off of that color something. This is about helping America, period. And this is about helping our people. All right, and what we have to do, and I've even heard white people say this: y'all need to shop black. And I ain't saying it just because of them. I'm looking at back there in the day. I'm looking at all of these people, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, they all saying the same thing. We have to shop with ourselves, okay? I mean, sure, with white folks, this is nothing angry against them or dogging them out. Matter of fact, if we shop with ourselves, we create a better business, a safer business, where they can come in, they can shop. I look at business like this. I don't care what color you are. You come into my store, I'm going to get you from point A to B as easily and comfortable and relaxing as possible. Okay? That's how I look at business. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you business people look at it the same way. You're not telling white people not to come to your store. That's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? You want whatever race, just like the Asians, you want whatever race to come into your Chinese restaurant or whatever place you got. Okay? That's business. That's American. All right? All I'm saying is that black people need to shop with themselves, because think of it like a big bucket. If we got a lot of holes in the black communities, and where people are making money and pouring money into that bucket, it's going out through these holes. All right? It's going out to the Asians. It's going out to the Jews. It's going out to the whites. Okay, we helping their businesses. They're living good. Okay, and I'm pretty sure they're living pretty decent. What we need to do is shop black. We need to buy our product from our own people. And what that does is start plugging up those holes, right? And that eventually will start rising up, and it'll overflow that bucket, and it'll go into the poor areas. It'll go for that brother that got the dream of having him a barber shop, a manufacturing, or electronic store. Now I heard when I put out my other videos, I had tons of black people writing me, telling me the dreams that they have and the plans that they have. I mean, if Mark Cuban wants to hear about all these black dreams and all this, and you rich black folks are sitting on the fence just running your business, doing your thing, it's a lot of potential in these black communities. It's a lot of potential. You see what I'm saying? And I hear it every day. I'm not a rich man. And I think if I was, I'd probably be super rich because I'd be spent it out on our people. Because there's a ton of ideas there. It's a ton of dreams there. You see what I'm saying? These brothers don't want to be out here selling drugs. If you listen to each one, they all saying the same thing. And then up in Chicago, these people are fighting for a block. They fighting for a block that ain't even theirs. They said it was 80 Easter weekend, 80-something, 84-something people got shot. And these are kids that are just trying to go back and forth to school. Okay? That's crazy. That is nuts because we're holding our money. We're holding our money, not letting the black people create business ideas and invest it in their dreams. I'm not saying give them something. All I'm saying is give them an opportunity so they can fulfill their dream of their business ideas. Look at this brother. I mean, this brother right here, I saw a brother in the mall and he had a tape, right? And he said, well, look, here, brother, I made this tape and da-da-da-da-da. And I said, well, how much is your tape, brother? He said, well, it's this right here, and I buy it. Every time I see it, I'm trying to spread that money. Give that man that money. This man went out here and did this. This man ain't robbing nobody. He ain't stealing nothing. You see what I'm saying? And for white folks, that same crime and that same shooting is going to be in your area if it's not already. All right? So this is something that you can support. If nothing else, you could go to and buy something from blacks. Look, here it is. Eventually, these neighborhoods are going to be safe. Okay? They're going to be safe. The product, if it's a little high, maybe it's a little high. Maybe it's the place ain't clean. We're going to work on that. Okay? That's what they did in Wall Street. That stuff, there was a dirt road, and eventually them folks fixed it up. All right? But we have to start investing in ourselves. We need to make T-shirts real quick to say, buy black. Okay? Support economic empowerment for our people. Okay? That we need that, and we need to keep pushing that into these communities because the cops is like the black cop and the white cop is just throwing their hands up and saying, I don't know what to do. These people are getting violent. They're scary. I'm going into these areas. They're mad. They mad at me. I ain't did nothing. I'm just trying to go to work and come home. And his family is saying the same thing that your family, when you go into one of them penthouse offices, they saying the same thing. I want you to come home safe. All right? But it is not going to be safe if we keep holding our money from these black people, okay? And start investing back into our people. And all that is just shopping black. Even white people, I've even read on the comments where black people say, look, the white people say, look, as long as it stops crime, I fall for it. If white people even agreeing with us, look, you know what I'm saying? But I'm saying in this system here, you ain't got to ask for nobody's approval. I'm just saying it just makes sense. Even the Bible talk about it. Or talk about us that we weren't going to buy the gold and silver and all of that. That just means we're just empowering ourselves economically. Okay? The country is in ton of debt. You over here stressing a system that's about to collapse. The government economic system is struggling, trying to take care of welfare, disability, it's a million doggone programs that they have over there. Just giving people money just don't seem to work. It may help a few, but the majority will just rely on it as a way of a life. You see what I'm saying? So why not create an economic system in the black community to take that load off of that system so these people that if foreigners are coming in, they're stressing the system. Mexicans coming in, Africans coming in, Europeans coming, everybody's coming in on that American system. Okay? They're trying to get themselves established so they can do their thing. But what I'm saying is we're allowing black people to just rely on that system instead of us creating our own. All right? And all that is just shopping black and putting that money back into our system, buying black, manufacturers buying black, but we sell it to everybody. We doing expert business and service to everybody. And I guarantee you, you'll see the crime rate drop. You'll see life get better. You'll see the inner cities get better. You'll see us being able to compete and buy houses and cars just like white people. Now the stretch is getting so far because the white folks are getting a good education and the black people are struggling, and that's getting farther and farther apart. No, we need to invest back into our communities. All right. So brothers and sisters, I hope I was able to tell you, help you out and tell you this economic system. And here's the last thing. Here's what I did in my community when I moved to Atlanta. Okay, after I worked at Lockheed and worked at all these places, big and small companies, I was a hustler. Okay, I was in elementary, and my classmate of mine, I had a T-shirt and I had hustle on it. And she said, "What you doing? You hustling drugs?" I said, "Nope, I hustle papers. I hustle pop bottles," because I was a little hustler when I was young. But I went in and I see this right here. This is a house that had burned down. There's the steps. Foundation was still there, but the house was burned down. Right? They tore it down. And see, it's all wooded. Okay. So what I did, I went in, got me a contractor, and that's what my education was. I was in construction. I went to school for that, right? And I went in, tore it all down, all right? Got blueprints, tore it all down, did everything legal, got all my permits, got all my licenses, okay? I didn't do nothing under the table. I did everything straight up, right? And I created this in the black community. I even hired some of the people that was in that community, okay? I got input from everybody in that community, so it can be done. And I borrowed money, you know what I'm saying? That was just before the crash. I was getting ready to do it again, but after that crash, you couldn't do nothing because they had froze all the money, all right? Last picture. I even sold it myself to save money. And I could have cut this cost, so I know from the top to the bottom how much everything costs. So I know rich black folks, y'all can do it. Y'all can invest back into your communities, all right? When you see this sign here saying under contract, I don't know if you see it, I got it half cut off, and I'm going to put some more pictures on later, once I become more computer literate or putting pictures on my video. But under contract, and I sold it to a young couple, and they're still in that house today. All right? So, brothers and sisters, I hope that I was able to help, and I hope I know I might have left some stuff out, but hopefully that'll give you a good starting point and a base for an economic system, a black economic system that we desperately need. All right? All right. Peace.